Good afternoon. We're back with some more Lord of the Rings LCG, and today is the Long Dark in Nightmare mode. Not a very difficult quest in normal mode, and this quest has a mechanic called Lost Tests, which is never seen in the game again. It's basically just an additional consequence when you fail at doing something. So we're getting set up. This is a good hand. Any hand that has Steward of Gondor is a good hand. Any hand that has an Ethir Swordsman I'll keep. We owe one card from the encounter deck, and it's one of the new Nightmare cards. So, well, there's all the copies of Steward of Gondor, but no matter. It's actually a good thing not to have too many allies in the hand on turn 1, because without leadership Denethor, we don't really have the ability to play a lot on turn 1, so if I had a lot of allies, they would just go to the waste. So I'm actually not sad at all to see duplicate copies of a card on turn 1. As it is, here a Knight of the Swan and an Errand-rider are going to go to waste. I should probably use a very good tail with the Ethir Swordsman and the Knight of the Swan, though sometimes I do and sometimes I don't, and it's really just based on a whim. There's not much thought put into it, what I feel like doing, or how strong a wall, how much challenge I expect in the early game. So I make 5 progress, and I'm at 23 threat, so the enemy is not going to need to be engaged, which is good on round 1. One of the things I really like about Messenger of the King version of this deck is that the threat is so low, you usually don't have to fight on round 1. And that is very, very good, because we're usually not set up to do that until round 3 or so. So I'm taking a look at Men of the West options here, and there is a good option, a good target for it. So we get a second Knight of the Swan out. Not sure what I'm thinking about. And then we'll get very good tail. And that'll be the third Knight of the Swan and the second Ethir Swordsman. So we're off and running. Probably just quest a little lightly and try to clear the board now. Don't really have the ability to do that if another enemy comes, but if it's just one, it's okay. So it's 8 and I take 1 threat. As I've quested unsuccessfully, I should discard an ally. That is the lost. It says trigger all lost effects in play, and I forgot that there is a lost effect in play on the Nightmare mode quest, which means I'd be discarding an Errand-rider here. Not gonna impact too much of the game. Alternately, if I decided to discard a Outlands ally, I would have gotten it back immediately with the Men of the West, though I wouldn't have been able to play Forlong. But most likely I would have decided to discard the Errand-rider. That is why he's here. He's cannon fodder. Also, an option would have been to increase threat by 5 and clear the Sigil Mineshaft, which would have cleared it. But most likely I would have discarded the Errand-rider. Cannon fodder is one of the big reasons why he's there. So now I'm just thinking about what enemies I want to engage. And I'm going to optionally engage the Cave Troll, and I'll use the cannon fodder for that. Must choose and trigger 1 lost effect in play. So I likely would have put the attack on the Hunter of Lamedon if I discarded someone before. Or Forlong. So I probably should be down, or I should be down 1 additional ally. That would be the Hunter of Lamedon. Given the setup that I have in the early game, though, it's not going to make a difference in a win or a loss. I'm going to have extra attack, willpower, etc. every round. So I can't play the both Hunters of Lamedon because I don't have the resources on Faramir. Or on Hirluin, but I can play 2 Envoys of Pelargir and a Hunter of Lamedon. So even if I was down 1 Hunter of Lamedon, again, not too big a deal at this point. Still questing lightly. It's a little risky with the Lost effect in play, but I probably should have quested a little harder there. Gets 2 shadow cards. Which I don't know if I realize or not. Could have been a big deal if it did another damage to Hirluin. See if I realized that at some point it should have been 2 shadow cards. If I had realized it, I probably would have had it attack an Envoy of Pelargir and destroy it. Another minor mistake, which is annoying but not likely to affect the game, given my board state. So I find Forlong with very good tail, a little disappointing. And with a clear board, we can just go ahead and quest to move on to phase 2. All locations are shuffled back into the deck by that encounter card. And then it surges into a mine shaft. So I decided to just quest lightly there. I'm not really sure why. This is a perfectly good spot to move on to the next phase. It's pretty greedy to wait, but oh well. So I'm gonna move on, I'm pretty sure. With 20, so it's at 8, that's 12 progress. Gotta make a locate test, which is when you discard a card from hand and an encounter card and you're looking for that pass on the bottom right corner, which I get on the first try. So I don't have to do the effects listed there. And I can relatively easily, once again, this enemy should get 2 shadow cards. And I give it only 1. So now I realize that I should have given 2 shadow cards to the goblin on Hirluin. And so I trigger a Lost effect. I'm not sure if that ally was in play at the time of his attack or not. I can't remember. Could be a Hunter of Lamedon needs to go. And now I trigger 2 for this guy, so retroactively correcting mistakes. Cancel all combat damage dealt to attacking enemy. So he's gonna live. No problem. Because this will be the last turn, I'll just quest to win here. I have near unlimited willpower on the board. I figure at this point in the game it's not worth using Heed the Dream. Why bother? So I need 22. Figure another 4, 26, maybe 30 should do it. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35 to 2. So that'll finish the game. Quick quest, made a couple of mistakes, but given my board state, not likely to affect much. As I got a very strong start with Steward of Gondor, multiple knights and Ethir Swordsman against a quest that doesn't really even need a strong start. Because even on Nightmare mode, it's one of the more mild quests. So thanks for watching.